about the Messi thing?
Anything else on the Messi front, Chris, before we move on?
No, I'm done. I'm
falling out. I told you, I never want to bring this guy's name up again.
I don't know, man. This Messi thing is just a freaking mess. What a disaster.
I don't want to hear this name ever again until it's official. But they got me back.
No question about it. I am ready to get hurt again.
Chris, the Herons are back. Welcome, everybody, to episode number 109 of the Battered Herons podcast. I am your host, Daniel Granada, and alongside me, as always, Mr. KBD. How are you doing, sir?
Man, I wanted something that I didn't really want, and I didn't even get it. No tie. No draw.
Yeah, because we wanted at least just to kiss sisters today. We wanted to draw because we thought that a win would be very difficult. But we didn't even get that. And we're going to get into all of that and a lot more, I'm assuming, because a lot of stuff going around in Inter Miami world right now. But I don't even know where you want to start because there's so much to get to. I guess the game, right? We should start with the game. Let's start with the fact we are officially eliminated from the playoffs. We needed DC to lose to NYCFC if we lost, because if we drew, we would still be alive. But with a loss, we needed a lot of things to go our way, one of them being DC United losing. But now DC United beat NYCFC to 2-0, which moves them to 40 points. So they're at 40 points. I think Montreal's at 41. Chicago's at 40. The most we can get now is 39. We are officially eliminated, and it's time to start thinking about next season because there's nothing else to look forward to this season. So,
well, and that brings me to one of the comments I see here. Mike V saying this season was not a success. We had a successful Leagues Cup and we had some successes, but the season as a whole was a disaster. I disagree, man. I really disagree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that look, this season was a success. We literally got the best player on the planet. We took home a trophy, which everybody was able to take a picture with today on Fan Appreciation Day. Okay,
the second trophy, right? The second
trophy. All right, guys, and let's not forget about this bad boy right here. Okay, let's not forget about that one. So that's the first one. Okay,
we're joking, guys. By the way, we're joking. Some people they kill us in the comments sometimes. Go ahead.
No, yeah, but it was a success. I mean, would we have liked the playoffs? Yes, but like we were in the hole. We were really in the hole before Messi came on. And I mean, at this point, we didn't make the playoffs, so be it. And we got next year, full season.
Open Cup would have been nice. Unfortunately, we had injuries that screwed that up, right? Because if Messi plays, we feel like we could beat Houston with Messi and Jordi Alba and, people just being healthy overall. But it was unfortunate. And I think the way this season started, you and I both agreed, and most people agreed, if Pozuelo's on this team does better than they did the first half of the year.
Oh, yeah.
But we knew Pozuelo was sacrificed in hopes of landing the greatest of all time.
Of course.
And we were okay with that. We said, we hate that this is happening. And if it's for nothing, we're going to be really pissed. But if we end up with Messi, it was worth it. We ended up with Messi. So sacrificing the first half of the year was okay with us, right? Hindsight being 2020. Because while we were going through it, we were upset. But we got Messi. We're like, all right, fine, that's cool. We sacrificed this season, and I can live with that. Now, not only did we sacrifice the season, we still managed to somehow make it to the Open Cup final. And then Messi arrived, and, I mean, it was worth it. Sacrificing this season, because I understand I kept hope alive for the playoffs, and I think if Messi never gets injured, I do think we make it. But we kept hope alive, and we were, like, dead last. Did anybody think that everybody counted us out like the playoffs aren't going to happen? We have to shoot for the Open Cup and the Leagues Cup.
Yeah.
But we kept it interesting, kind of, right? Drawing here and there, winning here and there. And we ended up with a trophy. And in reality, we said, as long as we can make Champions Leagues next year, it's a successful season. And we made it. As soon as we beat Philadelphia to make it to the final in the Leagues Cup final, I felt like this is a successful season. After this, anything is just the cherry on top.
And I also want to mention, and Factual Fruit is bringing up, and shout out to Factual Fruit. He saw us at the event yesterday, the Miami Fusion event. So shout out to you out there. And he's mentioning, wish Higuain played one more half season. Listen, I wish Higuain would have played too. But I think honestly that this comment right here is golden. Injuries. The season was plagued with injuries to critical players. I mean, just thinking from the beginning, right? I mean, we're gonna do a
Gregory,
better, yeah, we're gonna do a better synopsis at the end of the full season. But
right?
like you said, Gregory, Mota, Stefanelli,
Coco.
Ian Frey, who I forgot about
Oh my God!
completely.
Ian, and how hype were we about Ian Frey when he came on and he looked like a monster?
Listen, if we had Ian Frey, you guys wouldn't even
Negri.
know. You guys wouldn't even know who Tomas Aviles is.
Yeah, they still
You
would have brought
guys would
Aviles
have
in.
no.
No, they still would have brought him
You
in.
think so?
Yes, I think
Uh,
that we wouldn't know who David Ruiz is. I think David Ruiz started getting more playing time once Ian Frey went down, because Ian
yeah.
Frey was playing that CDM role a lot.
And Ian Frey was on point before he got
Man,
injured.
we were
He was getting
hyped.
on point.
I really feel for that kid
Yeah.
because he's had a couple bad injuries. Hopefully, he can get things back together. But so yeah, injuries definitely plagued this season from beginning all the way to the bitter end, because Messi missing the Open Cup final and the Atlanta game. Well, he was gonna miss the Atlanta game anyway, but the NYCFC game, like it just sucked. But it is what it is, and I still think all in all it was a successful season, even though we didn't make the playoffs.
You know what, Slurped? This shows.
Yeah,
Google Ian Frey.
Ian Frey. Ian Frey was a young kid that came on in the beginning of the season. He was a center back, but when we lost Mota and we lost Gregory, he came in and started playing central defensive midfielder, and he looked great. We were really happy with Ian Frey. We thought he was going to be the next budding star on this team, and then unfortunately, was it a torn ACL?
Yes.
Now, I want to say it was that. Maybe I'm incorrect. Somebody in the chat maybe can correct me, but he looked really good. We were really excited for him. At one point, we were saying he's probably the best player, I'm sorry, on the team at that moment in time, right? Like around that April, May.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, he went down, but he was looking really good. So for those asking who Ian Frey is, Ian Frey was what we thought was going to be our crucial part of this team, at least it was the core.
And Factual Fruit's asking if Coco's going to replace Joseph for the free, and if we need to spend some money on faster defense.
Yes.
We do need to spend money on faster defense, but what are we going to do with Stefanelli and Stefanelli 2.0 and Facundo Farias? What are we doing with those guys? I mean, those guys are clones, literally.
Come on. Farias is much better than Stefanelli, and Farias is here for the long haul. I don't know what happened with Stefanelli, but as far as spending money on faster defenders, I think that Christoph, I know he has the deal lasts longer than just this year. I think it goes maybe 2-3 years, but I don't see where Christoph fits here, because Christoph doesn't fit what Tata likes to do. That high line that Tata likes to play, he needs defenders with pace. Like Kamal Miller isn't necessarily fast, but he hustles and he plays so well that he can kind of get away with it. But Christoph is just too slow. You know what Christoph is? Christoph is a great defender. And Christoph would do great on a team like, let's say, Nashville. Nashville plays that low block. Christoph would be one of the best defenders, all-star on a team like Nashville. But on a team like ours, he just doesn't fit. Like I don't see how he fits here. Maybe as a depth piece, but I don't know if he's going to stick around to be a backup. I don't see Christoph here next year. I don't see how he fits.
And I got some bone to pick with you over here, Reaper. Replacing Mota. Yes. Listen, I need my daily Mota blaster in every game. You don't know how many times I riddled Danny during the game today. Every time Mota had the ball, I was just dying for like a field goal kick. He had like 2 opportunities that he should have taken, but then Messi's on the field. So what's he going to do? He's going to give it to fucking Messi. So
Nashville are campers. I'm sorry, somebody just said in the comments, Nashville are campers. But could you imagine Christoph? He has the perfect positioning. He doesn't, when he has the ball at his feet and he's getting pressured, he moves the ball out and passes it well out of the pressure. Like he would be perfect on a team like Nashville. Everybody would be like, wow, he's such a great defender, because he is a good defender. It's just in the role that they have him in right now, it just doesn't work. And then as far as Mota goes, I'm not going to lie to you. Because we now have Busquets and we have Kremaki playing the midfield, I don't see where Mota fits here. Because if you're going to tell me he's the central defending midfielder for us, I don't see it. He doesn't play that role. Gregory plays that role. Arroyo plays that role. David Ruiz can play that role. Mota is not that guy. Mota, I rather see right now in the way Tata plays his team, the way that we have been playing, I rather see Ulloa on the pitch over Mota because Mota doesn't work here, at least not right now.
That's bold what you just said, that you'd rather see Ulloa over Mota.
Because he'll defend. He'll try to defend. Mota doesn't do that.
This is fact. This is the most factual thing Factual Fruits ever posted. Next 2 matches are literally a game of Survivor. I 100% agree with that.
Well, I think we saw Messi for the last time this year.
Yeah, we're not seeing him on a Wednesday.
No,
and we're not seeing him on turf.
No, that was it.
You're not seeing him on turf.
I told you the only way that there is a chance that he plays on turf is that last game if it was to like win and in. And I was like, you know what? The way things are going, maybe we might make the playoffs. Maybe that game will matter. Maybe he'll play on turf. No way you're saying. I think today was the last day we saw Messi play this calendar year for Inter Miami.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the game then. Let's talk.
Hold on. I want to address something real quick. Please, people, stop believing this BS about him getting loaned out to Barcelona. He's not getting loaned out to Barcelona. What's he gonna? So what? We're gonna get him back in the summertime next year? He's not going to play a full season with us. He's going to miss all the Champions League games and all those other tournaments because he wants to go play a couple games in Barcelona.
Factual Fruit out here trying to gas everybody up. He's trying to gas.
He's not going to get loaned to Barcelona. The same people that are reporting that are the same people that said he was going back to Barcelona before the summer and that there was absolutely no chance he was coming to Miami. Those are the same people reporting that. Stop listening to those stupid reports or rumors.
Well, yeah, or rumors, reports. I mean, at this point, everything is a report, right? Like I told you, I'm gonna start reporting on Messi's daily doings. It's not rumors. So let's talk a little bit about the game, and the best way to start with the game, Danny.
And by the way, we have to go back to Money Matt's comment at the end after we're done talking about the game, because I want to look this over again because Money Matt coming through with the info as always.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Now, I'll bring up the starting lineup real quick. So, how sexy did you think this starting lineup was, or not sexy?
When we are playing with 3 in the back, not 5 in the back, right? Because see where Yedlin and Allen are in that picture, they're more aligned with Ruiz and Kremaki. Yeah, like they don't drop that far back. So, but I do like when we play with 3 in the back. I really do. I think that Aviles plays better. I think our defense overall is better. I thought in the first half, I thought we played much better than Cincinnati overall. And that was the fact that we were still undermanned because Messi hadn't come into the game yet. And we still were creating chances. How many times did we hit the post? It was 3. 3 times we hit the post that we should have scored 3 times. And I thought we looked like a much better side in the first half with 5 in the back. And then when we switched that up in the second half, things changed. But go ahead.
And that's a funny thing to say, that we looked better in the first half than we did in the second half, and that's when Messi got on the field.
Defensively.
Okay, I can see that. So I like this setup. I do like it when they have 3 in the back with the 2 wing backs. I always like that better than when they do 4. Aviles played very, very well today. I'll give him credit. He played pretty well. One player that I wasn't really fond of was Farias. I wasn't fond of him because he lost a couple opportunities at scoring, well, not scoring, or at least striking towards the goal. He had a couple strikes, but I don't know what it is, but he just doesn't work that well with Martinez. I saw a couple times that they kind of like looked at each other like, come on, man, you should have done this or you should have done that. Look, it's crazy to say because Farias has like all the talent in the world. He has so much capability of being a great player for this team, but I really thought that he had a couple opportunities, golden ones, to be able to put the ball in the back of the net this game, and he didn't. And I'm gonna have to look back at some of the highlights for sure.
I mean, the only rough part of doing these post games after we've been there like in person is that we didn't get as good of a look as we do on the broadcast. So we lean on the chat a little more to kind of tell us what they saw. But from what I saw, I didn't think Farias played a bad game. Was it his best? Well, obviously not. But I didn't think he played bad. I didn't think Kremaki had an off game, but he's had a couple off games recently. But and I know it sounds like an excuse because it is an excuse, I guess, technically. But he's 18. He got put in this situation, and he's tired. Also, I really do think that we've had a lot of pressure put on him, but he has been giving the ball away a lot. And I don't know.
Yep,
We'll see how things go.
And you know what I noticed about Ben? Because somebody mentioned something about other people talking about the game and saying that Ben Krem was good today. He has terrible touch on the pass. When he receives passes, you would think that like center midfielders are like really good at gathering the ball and like turning and moving around and rotating the ball. And his touch with the pass is like pretty rough. I don't like his touch with the pass. I see that he tries to do. I mean, he's very active. So maybe that's just a little bit against him in terms of like what he's trying to do, since he's like thinking before doing or doing before thinking. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I could see that, because I think that when I've seen him at his best receiving the balls is when he's on the run, when he's getting a through ball, when he's making a run, and he just keeps the play going. But when he's receiving it in a crowd, I can see what you're saying. I could definitely see that. And I had somebody, Ed Barter, said that Cincinnati had chances also, but I think that was more in the second half. In the first half, I think Miami had a much better game in the first half than Cincinnati did. Defensively, we were pretty stout, and we were creating. We looked really aggressive. And something that I started telling my wife, we all knew Messi was coming in the second half. And then I told her, every game that he's come in the second half up until today, we've scored before he comes onto the pitch. It's like the Messi effect is real. Like, it's like a whole new type of energy in the crowd and in the players. It's like, he's coming, let's go. And they play completely different. So we should have had the lead before he came in. Every game up until now, we've had the lead somehow before he checks into the game. And it's like, this team in the first half, again, before Messi got there, was the same squad that was playing against NYCFC, that was playing against Atlanta and these teams, but they didn't look like this. But all of a sudden, it's like, okay, Messi's coming in the second half, let's go. And it's like the energy is just on another level, and I just don't get why that happens. But it's the Messi effect. It really is.
Listen, Rome is mentioning in the comments, should have been 3 on the first half. Listen, if this was a game of hitting post instead of the back of the net, the game should have been like 4-4 or like 4-3.
Aviles had a great chance when he hit the top of the post. Kremaki, Ben Krem, had one from the goalie's right.
Yeah.
I think he hit it with the outside of his foot, hit the post. And there was a third one that hit the post. And it was like, Jesus, it was a Joseph. I think it might have been Joseph. And it was like, man, like I thought it was coming. And when it started raining, like my wife took the kids under the stands to cover for them.
Yeah.
And I knew I should go look for what are those things? The ponchos.
Ponchos.
But I felt like we're gonna score in the next minute or two. Like, let me hold off a little bit, because I'll go once we score. And I just waited like a minute or two. And like, oh man, I can't keep waiting. So I finally ended up going looking for the ponchos, which, by the way, took forever. But yeah, I really thought there was a goal incoming. I was 100% sure that while I was out looking for ponchos, that I would hear the crowd erupt, because we were we were putting the pressure on, and I really thought that a goal was inevitable, but I guess not.
I want to mention something here, because Slush is mentioning most of these guys starting should be bench players. Listen, we've been singing those tunes even before Messi got here. With so many critical players falling, all these academy guys had to fill in spaces that they didn't earn necessarily, in terms of like earning it in a timely fashion. They were kind of rushed into these positions because of the losses that we took. And Leroy is right. He 9.5 out of 10 for Martinez.
I saw him complaining a lot. I agree with what you say to an extent. These players, if everybody stays healthy, probably would not have gotten a lot of time with the first team. I think Kremaki might have been one of the ones that finally gets a lot of playing time, and maybe Ian Frey. I think he would have eventually gotten up there.
Yes.
But outside of those two, I don't think any of these academy players might have seen too much of the pitch. But with that said, I think they've played well.
Yeah.
Noah Allen, I think, has played well. David Ruiz has played well. Kremaki, look, I know that he's been off the last couple of games, but for the most part, when you look at the season as a whole, I think he's played very well also. Like, I think that we're being a little harsh on these kids, because they were put into a position that they were pushed into at 18, 19. All of a sudden, you think about the opposing players that are starstruck to play against Messi. Imagine playing with Messi, knowing that the world is watching you and you don't want to be the one to mess up. Because if you mess up, you're not messing up in front of this crowd of 20,000 people. All of a sudden, everybody on Apple TV across the world is watching you. You don't want to be that guy across the world. So that's a lot of pressure on these 18, 19-year-olds. So I'd give them a little more grace. I think they've played well. Yes, I understand that they, at least Cremaschi hasn't played that great recently, but overall, I think he's had a pretty solid season.
Well, and this is a great question by Judah saying, who are some of the defenders you want? Because I'm tired of that we need defenders, but too scared to say who. I mean, Miller is number one on my list for sure. I think that we should keep.
I think he's talking about players that we should sign. But if we're talking about just that we want to keep.
Oh, okay.
If we just want to keep Miller, and I think Aviles is going to keep growing into his own. Like you guys are so ruthless. Like, and one more thing I want to address. I see a lot of people throwing shade Tata's way. Oh, Phil Neville, Phil Neville, yeah. Everybody hating on Phil Neville. Yeah, I know you're a douchebag. Look, Tata got here in the middle of the season with players that don't fit his system. Christoph doesn't fit his system. He's playing with players that don't fit his system. Not only was he put here in the middle of the season, he had to just figure things out. He didn't have a month or two to figure things out. Not only was he just figuring things out on the fly with 18 and 19-year-olds, but it felt like every passing week he would add a new player. First, let's add Messi and Busquets, which, by the way, I understand that's great. Greatest of all time, Busquets.
You already just defeated yourself, son.
How do you figure?
Took that L so fast right now, my guy.
Just because they're great doesn't mean that they learn how to play with the tactics. Okay,
I gotta feel so sad about Tata coming in like, oh God, coming in, and I gotta coach Busquets and Jordi Alba and Lionel Messi. Oh my God, woe is me. Oh, it's gonna be terrible this season. What?
So what you're telling me is that he doesn't have to do anything. Plans out the window. Messi, just go figure it out. I'm sure you're good enough. Who cares if it's 5-3, if it's 10-1? Like, the formation doesn't matter. It's Messi. Go ahead. The coach doesn't matter. Fuck it.
But look at what Phil Neville had to deal with. Phil Neville had
3 years to do it, or 2 years.
2 years.
Tata had what, 2 weeks? And then every week. All right, so we got this. And then, all right, okay, Robert Taylor's playing well, but all of a sudden I got Farias. How do I do this? All right, well, Jordi Alba is here now. Okay, so let's put him there. Oh, Robert Taylor and him aren't working out. I got to figure this out. But I got a game in 3 days. How do I figure this out? Okay, let's keep going. Oh, all of a sudden I got Aviles. Okay, I got Aviles now. I got a third defender. What do I like? There was a lot of piecing things together as the season was going on. And every 3 days, you not only had a game, but you had an elimination game. Like, I get it. You had Messi and you had a great squad. But Jesus Christ, like, Tata's been building this as he goes.
Danny, if you put 9 other custodians next to Messi, but then you put 10 custodians on the field, no Messi, who's winning that game?
What the fuck are you talking about?
The Messi and custodian game.
What?
A simple analogy right there. If you get Messi and put him with 9 randos, and then you put 10
if you put Messi with 9 custodians and you play him against 11 MLS players, the 11 MLS players are going to win, Chris.
But look at what you're doing. You're putting.
I bet you this team looks a lot better next year when Tata has a full offseason to figure out the players that he needs on this squad. Okay.
Sure.
So do you think that Tata looks better next season with that? Because right now you're saying Tata's a piece of crap. Phil Neville didn't get a chance.
Well, Phil Neville didn't get a chance, and it's not fair what Phil Neville had to deal with, and I'm sticking to my guns.
And not only the Tata thing, but the players themselves building chemistry. Like, every 3 days you're playing, you don't really have time to train and prepare. Like, this team was literally being built as it went. How we won Leagues Cup? Messi. Like, that's it. It all boils down to the Messi magic. That was a magical month of Messi. Yeah, I agree. That was the weirdest analogy ever.
That is
I was
not.
almost as bad as episode 98.
I can't. I left my shirt somewhere. It's not as bad as episode 98, guys. You guys should check it out if you haven't checked out
That's the
episode
worst episode
98.
of all time.
By the way, if you guys are still here, thank you for chilling in the chat, guys. Take the thumb, check your text messages, like and subscribe, all that kind of good stuff.
All right, so the first half ended draw. I'm not sorry, not draw. It
Yes.
was tied 0-0, and I thought that we would at that point. I was like, we've looked so good. 0-0. I thought Messi comes on. We have to win this game. Like, isn't that what
Yeah.
you were thinking? I think most people in the stadium probably felt that way. Like, we've looked so good the first half. When Messi comes on, we have to eventually score. Messi's not missing those chances that we had in the first half.
I mean, that's like movie writing at its finest, right? That's what everybody was sort of seeing. Messi comes in for Aviles. Jean Mota comes in for David Ruiz. Stefanelli later comes in for Joseph, and then Robert Taylor comes in for Yedlin. I mean, you would think that would be the best move. And M. Mor is chiming in. Farias is good, similar to Vinicius in Madrid. First season bad, then he was the guy. He just has anxiety, poor decision. He will improve. Like, chill, he would do better. I don't know about all that. He's taking Robert Taylor's job, and he's not even doing that great of a job. Listen, I don't know if you guys can recollect here. Coco Jean was the first sort of player that was primed for us. That's like, oh, this guy's like a do-it-all. He's a wing. He's a striker. He's a great person. Then Stefanelli came. And then Stefanelli was also primed as like, oh, he could do everything. He could play defense. He could do backflips. And now we got Farias. And Farias is like, oh, this guy could play every position. He could coach. Tata sucks. Get him out. Put Facundo to go ahead and coach the team. We got 3 guys that do the same shit. Who's getting canned?
Well, Robert Taylor, I think, is a Swiss Army knife. I think Robert Taylor should stay. I don't know if he will stay. I don't know if he will stay because he's gonna have a hard time getting playing time over Farias and all that. But
we're gonna talk a little bit about this, Esteban.
Yeah. I think that Robert Taylor might not be here next year. As much as that pains me, because I really do like Robert Taylor. My daughter, like, for some reason, Robert Taylor's her favorite player, which is really cool.
Hey, Robert Taylor's a great player, man.
I think it's awesome.
Like you mentioned, everybody expected the Messi effect to immediately blast into the game, that he would get his goal. But then on the 78th minute, Barrial gets a goal, which...
It was off a rebound, right? Because Drake did a great job saving that. Drake,
oh my God, Drake
had an amazing
today,
game.
Amazing game. Awesome.
And I'm going to sidetrack us a second.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember this, but back in March, I said, what are the chances that a goalie can win MVP? Because at that point, we were 2-1. We had just lost to NYCFC.
Yeah.
And I was telling you, our defense sucks. And everybody's like, oh, no, but we had 2 clean sheets, blah, 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 blah. I was like, yeah, but Drake had like 1 million saves. The only reason we won those 2 games is because Drake was saving everything. And everybody was killing me for saying that our defense sucks. Here we are a season later, and it's horrible. But with that, Drake, I was saying, should be considered for MVP. Obviously, it was only 3 games into the season. But the way he was playing those first 2 games, I was like, this guy's playing amazing.
Yeah.
I say all this to say there were 2 nominations from every team. And Inter Miami put, or I'm assuming it was Inter Miami, Busquets and Messi on the ballot for MVP.
Yeah.
I think that is extremely disrespectful to Drake Callender.
That is shit.
Drake Callender has by far and away been, when we're talking about regular season, MLS has by far and away been the MVP for this team. And the fact that he's not getting that recognition is embarrassing. Messi, if you want to put him up there because it's Messi, that's fine. But why is Busquets there? Messi played what? With today, he's played 5 regular season games. Busquets has played maybe like 7 or 8. Drake has been there every single game. I can't think of a game that he's missed. Maybe he missed 1 for international duty. I can't remember. And he has been by far our best player in the regular season. How he's not part of that, I think is completely embarrassing.
But Busquets has played a lot of games and a lot of minutes.
But remember, this is a regular season MVP, though.
Yeah.
And so we're talking about the whole season. And when we're talking about the whole season, the fact that that Drake Callender isn't getting his flowers, I think is disappointing. Because if you're telling me that every team gets 2, like even if he got 1, I would be saying it should be Drake. But if he gets 2,
Yeah.
how is it not? How is Drake not one of those
How is
2?
he not considered?
How?
Yeah.
Messi's played 5 games in the regular season. Busquets has played like 7 or 8. Drake has been here the whole year, and he hit by the whole entire year by far our best player. Look at today. Today, almost a clean sheet if he doesn't unfortunately get that bounce back to Barrial. Like Drake has been amazing, which is BS that he doesn't get consideration for MVP. If you're choosing 2 from every team to be nominated, I thought that was such BS.
Which, by the way, the reason that goal occurred is because Busquets turned the ball over. So that's that. And supercalifragilistic. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if it was 41. I do know it was a lot, but I would like you to go back. I don't know when you started watching the team. If you're watching from the beginning of the season, maybe you didn't realize. But if you look back, Drake was leading the league in saves. So if we let up 41 goals, I promise you it would have been a lot more, because he was literally, and he might still be, I don't know, I haven't checked. He might still be leading the league in saves because our defense is poor. Our defense is the only reason we were winning games is because Drake was keeping us in those games.
Which, talking about our defense and Factual Fruits saying, I think we let Yedlin go. I cannot wait until this season ends and we do an episode about who gets fired and who doesn't. I can't wait for that episode.
Why?
Because that's going to be a fun one. That's going to be a fun one where we're just out here firing everybody. Look at this. Tariq says, see you guys in February. Come on, man. Hang out and party with us. So, yeah, right. I mean, Barrial gets the rebound goal. I mean, after that, you start to see a couple penalties occur, right? A couple free kick opportunities. We got, what is it? Messi magic written in the stars. And
he had a couple tries at free kicks.
Unfortunately, it's just not possible, guys. This guy is not Jesus H, and he didn't make it happen for us today. So,
well, Drake is.
I guess he's just telling you like he's doing his job. He's a goalkeeper.
Right, but when he's your best player, I figure that you should be considered for MVP. And by the way, we have had a goalie win MVP in this league. It happened once, Tony Mayola. I want to say 2000, 2001. I think it was with KC. So it has happened. And I'm not saying that he should win MVP of the league, but if you're going to nominate 2 players from your team, I think you should nominate the player that has been the best all year. And I think Drake has hands down been the best player all year, regular season-wise. So 118 saves this season by Drake. I'm kind of curious if he leads the league. I'm going to check that up right now. Go ahead, Chris.
And Tariq, I hope you hold this receipt right here, Danny, with Tariq saying, I told you last time 7 out of the 8 starters need to be changed. Believe me. Yeah.
The thing is, people 2 years ago, we had a massive influx. We changed 18. I think it was like 18 new players. It was some crazy number. It was insane. Do I see something like that coming again this year? It's possible. Tata needs to have the players that fit his system, but I don't see 7 or 8. How? Like, we're keeping 6 of them. We're gonna keep Messi, Busquets, and Alba, and we're keeping
that Calendar's gone.
We're keeping Calendar, and we're keeping Farias. We're keeping who else am I missing of the young kids? Farias, Diego Gomez, which. And we're keeping and we're keeping Aviles. That's 7, because we're keeping the 6 that are basically our 3 big names and the 3 young guys. That's 6, and Drake. That's 7. I would assume that we keep Campana also. That's 8. Yep. So I'm not sure, like, for these, because the thing is, I don't know. I don't see it happening. I don't think it's going to be that. It's going to be some new players for sure.
Yes.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Luis Suarez, right? It almost feels like it's written in the stars that Luis Suarez is going to be here. But I don't see a massive influx like we did two seasons ago.
So that was the game. Messi is not Jesus, and he didn't pull us through and win the game for us off of free kicks. Game was over. Guys collapsed on the ground because they were just exhausted, which, by the way, the pitch was just destroyed all game. I don't know if you noticed that, but the whole field was just falling apart. So, and I'm pretty sure at this point, with one more game left here, it's guys aren't going to keep the grass like how they did before. So,
And but I just wanted to bring up the fact that Drake Callender is third in saves, first in the East, but third in saves overall. So
at this point, Reaper, and that's a good observation by you, Danny. I mean, like you said, Drake Callender is one of the best goalies right now. And he is the reason for the season for us, other than Messi, guys. Other than Messi, F baby. Reaper's mentioning here Gregory. I don't know if it's even worth playing Gregory at this point. I don't even think it's worth playing him.
I don't think he plays the last 2 games either. Like, you think he's gonna come back from an injury and play on that turf in Charlotte? I highly doubt it.
Yeah, I don't think it's worth it. I don't think it's worth it.
No, and look, Messi is Jesus. I don't know if I would say that in those exact words, but Messi is that great. He's so great that I was convinced that he had 3 free kicks from a decent distance. I was convinced that one of those 3 he would take a shot and go in. Yeah. So I'm with you. Look, Messi's amazing. When I saw him come in, I was like, that's it. We got this in the bag because Messi is that great. It's just, unfortunately, we couldn't get the job done. It really sucks.
I hope that we can be able to have Gregory just chill here next season because he's going to be great. I think he's going to be phenomenal for Busquets, especially because he's going to be a juggernaut in the middle of the field.
This league, although I think the rules are going to change a little bit, we might get an extra DP. The salary might go up a little bit. It's not going to go up. I think, at least I don't personally think that it's going to be an astronomical increase where all of a sudden we get to sign all these big names. Yeah. Like, you're still going to have to fill in the team and the depth with some, MLS guys like Gregory, like a Mota, Coco still. So I and some young kids, right? Kremaki's still going to be here. David Ruiz, I think, will still be here. So you're still going to have these players. I know everybody wants like an all-star team, but that's not happening.
And I don't think so either. And talking about defense, Leroux is mentioning that Miller tends to overcommit on his tackles. Listen,
but he wins so many of them.
Yeah, he does, man. He's a good timer with his tacklers.
Oh my God, there was. I'm sorry to cut you off, Chris, but I just wanted to, before I forget, at the very end of the game, it looked like Cincinnati was on the counter, and it must have been like a couple seconds left in stoppage time.
Yeah,
and he came in and he committed to a tackle, a sliding tackle. He won the ball and then started pushing it up forward. And I felt like that stop was like so like beautiful. I was like, oh, this is going to lead to a goal. Like, I thought that this was going to be a moment. We're going to be like, we're going to point at Miller, be like, you see that play? He started that because it was such a great stop. And the way he pushed it forward quickly, unfortunately, we turned the ball over. And I think that was it. But Miller has been an absolute monster since Messi and company showed up. And I'm glad that he got that extension because he's absolutely earned it.
Yes. Now, I don't know if you want to keep talking about the game or just wrap up the game, but the game is the game. We lost 1-0.
We could wrap up the game. We knew that Cincinnati was going to come out to win, right? Because they rested a lot of players in their game on Wednesday. I want to say they played on Wednesday, and we kind of knew it was for us because they wanted no parts of Messi in the playoffs because they knew by beating us today it would be very difficult for us to make the playoffs. And if we would have made the playoffs, we would have played them in the first round. And nobody wants to play Messi in the playoffs. We saw what he did in the Leagues Cup. So absolutely no way that you want to play him in a playoff situation, even though it would have been the best of 3. You don't want to play him in the playoffs. So I knew that Cincinnati was going to come out for blood today. And we held our own against the best team in the league because there's absolutely no arguments about it. Supporter Shield winner, they are the best team in the league, and we held our own. First half without Messi, second half with Messi, outside of a giveaway by Busquets. I mean, we held our own against the best team in the league. We beat them last month, and they barely beat us now. I mean, you can't say that you can't expect this team to be one of the best. We'll be probably chasing for the Supporter Shield next year. And I understand that because we have all those tournaments, it's going to make it a little harder. Because look at how Philadelphia started this year. For those of you that don't know, Philadelphia Union won the Supporter Shield last year, I believe. Maybe they didn't, but they were top 2 maybe. So maybe they didn't win it. But they were a great team, and everybody came into this year thinking that they would be great. But they did very poorly the first 2 months because they had so many tournaments to attend. They had Champions League and they had a bunch of other things. So they would have to sacrifice some regular season games playing their B team to be ready for the Champions League game on a Wednesday or Tuesday, whenever they played it. And they had a really rough start. Once they got eliminated from those tournaments, all of a sudden they started just balling again. So there's a chance that we run into something like that next year. But I mean, I think there should be a goal into which we're gunning for the Supporter Shield. But yes, Champions Cup is 100% the main thing next year. The main thing for sure.
And then over here, Tariq asked a really good question. He saw a lot of Miami fans saying that if Messi didn't play today and then goes to Argentina and played, that they'd be very upset. Is that how we saw it? That's a good question. I would have been a little bothered by it because, I mean, what is it? He's going to be playing against, what is it? I don't know if it's Paraguay or Uruguay. One of those.
I think it's Paraguay.
Teams. Yeah, and some other team that really isn't that great. So for him to go and participate when he's not really, really needed against those teams, but then he misses time with us, I think that would have sucked really bad. I think that would have been a pretty bad look. Paraguay and Peru. Yep, these are Paraguay and Peru.
Yeah. I guess to an extent, I understand why you're saying that. So I to an extent I agree, because this game was to make the playoffs, and as an Inter Miami fan, you're more concerned about Inter Miami than you are about Argentina. I'm not Argentinian. I'm Colombian. So I don't care how Argentina does. So honestly, I don't care if they win or if they lose. Like, I really don't give a fuck. So to me, I understand why he wants to go play for his country, and I respect that. Yeah. But I don't care about them. I care about Inter Miami. So if I had to choose one for him to play, I'd rather him play an important playoff game. Now, if you tell me he has to choose between Argentina and this next Charlotte game, that means nothing. I get it.
Yeah, that I don't care about.
You know, but I kind of wanted him. But I understand if he chooses his country over a club. Like, it's usually country over club always, right?
And I have a question, though, because if you really think about it, he won on top. Won the last World Cup. I mean, I don't know if it's like this whole thing of you want to keep playing for your country on just until the wheels fall off.
But look, for usually, right, for soccer fans and especially for soccer players, it's country over club almost always. Yeah, and I respect that. I don't think it's a big deal. My only thing is that since he's injured, I was like, damn, if you're injured and you have to choose one game, I would like it to be for the club, right? Because I want to make the playoffs. But I'm not gonna hate on him for choosing Argentina. I get it. Like, it's country over club always.
Yeah, and look, Broward Heron, if you're referring to the question that I'm asking about Argentina over the club or whatever, I mean, I'm not really too familiar with the soccer world. I just got into it a couple years ago. So to me, I'm just wondering, like, if you go out as a champion in the World Cup, is it really profitable to like go back and play for your country when you just won for your country for the first time? So I don't know. That's just the way that I think about it.
Yeah, no, but the thing is,
but Danny, you mentioned that a lot of players make it country over club. So now I get it.
I don't want to say. I think most. I don't want to say all, but I think most. Like, I think there's nothing bigger for a soccer player to hold the World Cup trophy. Like, obviously, club wise, Champions League, whether it be a CONCACAF or obviously UEFA over there in Europe. That's like as big as it gets, right? Probably UEFA Champions League is the biggest it gets. So as a soccer player, club wise, that's the biggest trophy. But I think the dream is to hold that golden World Cup trophy. Like, that is the dream for all players. Like, that's the epitome of soccer right there. So it's always country over club.
Well, and Mike V's mentioning that Pele won it 3 times, but like Pele won it like young in his career, no? Like, I mean, I don't know the stats. I think I got to look at it, but I think he won pretty early in his career. So, and this was my point right here, Augustine, that precisely because he's world champion, he wants to remain as such, show everybody he's the boss internationally. That's kind of the way that I thought of it, right? Like, you win and that's it. Like, I'm not trying to play anymore. I already got the chip, bro. What? Yeah, I was going to bring that comment up.
So somebody said,
I'll read it
go
for
ahead.
you. So Leonardo's mentioning, yo, Danny, I'm getting a little tired of you with Messi. You use him when he's shit. You complain and bash him. And yeah, I care about the qualifiers because I'm Argentinian. So his level of play matters.
Well, a couple things. Leonardo, I don't know how often you listen to us. I can't remember ever bashing Messi. So that's one. Two, I don't remember ever complaining about Messi. And three, I'm not Argentinian, so I don't give a fuck about how Argentina does. And I'm sure that if Messi was from another country, you wouldn't give a fuck how that country does. So Argentina honestly means absolutely nothing to me when they play international soccer. I'm glad that Messi won it. When it was World Cup time, I was rooting for Messi to win it. But honestly, I don't care about Argentina as a soccer team. I really don't. I'm Colombian. I honestly dislike them, to be quite honest with you, Leonardo. I really don't like your team.
Get out of here, Leonardo. So that's that, guys, right? You don't want to fuck with the Colombians when it comes to that kind of stuff, I guess. Yes.
Well, I'm sure there's a lot of Argentinians that are watching this that are probably like,
yeah, and I get it
at their screen. So I get it, but I'm Colombian. Like, what do you want me to do? Want me to change my affiliation? I know you guys don't give a crap about Uruguay, Brazil, Colombia, Ecuador. You guys don't care about them. It's Argentina until you die. Well, you know what? I'm not Argentinian. Why? It's country over club, right? Well, it's country over player also. So when we're talking about club soccer, I love Messi. You're talking about international. If Colombia and the United States aren't involved, okay, yeah, go ahead, Messi, do your thing. But I'm not losing any sleep if they lose. I'm not.
Yeah. Well, and he at least he's giving you a little bit of, so he's saying, I watch your show all the time. Yeah, we beat your ass all the time. Colombia's what? How many World Cups?
Well, I'm glad that you watch it all the time. I appreciate it. And then then I never talk crap about Messi.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, Colombians, we're out here shooting center backs for World Cups, okay, guys?
Relax there. Relax there. Relax there. All right, let's get back on track.
I saw the movie.
Oh, Jesus. All right, let's get back on track there. So what did you think about the game day experience overall? Because when I pulled up, I felt like it was a really weird vibe. It looked like at some point there were tours happening. Like I felt like there was a tour leader that was like holding up something so that the people behind him didn't like lose the tour leader. There was a lot of people wearing VIP things in the fan zone. Yeah. It was really weird. Like it was cool, I guess, because it was packed again. I guess because everybody knew Messi was going to play. But it was very, very weird.
It was more weirder. And let me tell you, even though we didn't hear so many people in the supporter stands playing more instruments, which we're going to get to that as well, and we didn't see too much hoopla in the yellow lot today, it was a little weird, and the environment for sure. And I have the picture. I don't know if you want me to bring it up yet or not.
Go for it. And then just real quick, Mr. Krabs, salty because Argentina owns Colombia. That's fine.
Whatever. Go watch the 30 for 30, guys, and understand what I'm talking about.
I'm sure a lot of them know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So here's the thing, right? And Grace, you mentioned this at the perfect time, Papa. We're changing the subject, and now here we have some pretty pictures, right? That I took, one picture at least. And this is, guys, this is what your season tickets are paying for. That new shelter that's on top of gate 1. So now when Danny is waiting outside of the gate because it's raining and they don't want to let him in, at least he'll be covered and he won't get wet. Or I won't have to go through like a zombie apocalypse in gate 2. So everybody's going ham in the chat about Colombia, bro.
It's okay.
So what'd you guys think about this little coverage here on gate 1? Because that's what your season tickets are paying for, guys. Straight up and down.
Look, I noticed it when I came in. I would like the new stadium to have a roof that covers the whole thing, but
they gave you a roof that covers the entrance.
It was cool. I mean, I guess I didn't think too much about it.
You didn't get a techo. You got a techito.
Yeah. Somebody said in the chat that I'm always getting angry. Am I always getting angry? Is this the reputation I'm getting? I don't think I get angry all the time.
Yeah, I think you're getting kind of a once an episode kind of anger here. It's because sometimes you guys are amazing, but then sometimes it's hard to get a grip on things. So that's the picture that I wanted to bring up about the experience during the game. Did you notice that there was sort of a lack of intensity in terms of what the fans brought, in terms of sort of what was?
Well, before we talk about the actual stands, today was the first time that I think that they run out of a giveaway. Yeah. I got into the gates at 6:30, and they ran out of bucket hats. I was like, what the hell? Like that, I don't think that's ever happened to me. And I show up relatively early. I get in there an hour early, so obviously there were a lot of people obviously in the stadium today. Yeah, they ran out of bucket hats. That sucked. A lot of people. And you know what was really frustrating? And I get it; it's hard to control. But what really pissed me off is that they ran out of bucket hats, and then you see people walking by wearing like 3 on top of their head.
Yeah,
like one on top of the other, on top of the other. And I was like, God damn, that sucks. Kind of wanted to take one off of their head, but I was like, you know, whatever. They got their thing.
Good looking out, Leonardo, there. Yes. Different opinions. That's what makes this world go round, Bobby. Now, talking about the bucket hats, it just so happened that when I went up to the table, and you were kind of close to me, this guy walked away with like 7 bucket hats. He's like, oh yeah, my wife and my uncle and my abuela and my tío and my primo, everybody's back there waiting for a hat. Then the next group comes up and the lady has 2 individual hats, and she's telling the guy, like, I need to see your whole family. The guy tells her, what are you talking about? You just gave like 9 hats to a whole family, bro. Guy's gonna go outside and sell them out with his fake pink Messi jerseys. So we ended up getting, I think, 1 hat each, and then I got 1 hat. You ended up getting hats a little bit later, but I mean, it was just terrible.
Yeah, it wasn't easy, but we got. I mean, at that point, I didn't care. But my kids, I took my kids with me, and they felt kind of left out when they saw everybody rocking the hat. So I had to figure out how to get my kids hats, but I got them hats, and we move on. All right, so let's talk about what everybody wants to talk about, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, everybody had some thoughts. I mean, if you guys haven't seen on Twitter, there was a lot going on in terms of like the supporters groups that they were sort of taking a stand against what La Familia has been going through with this season ticket member pricing. Obviously, if you're a season ticket holder or you were interested in getting season tickets, it's basically 50, 75, 100% plus jumped up from what it was last year. A lot of the fan base was not happy about that. And the supporter groups were, you know, at some point they had some ideas to get things done. And then later it was seen a little differently on social media, which wasn't portrayed very well. But let me tell you something. One thing I want to mention, and tell me if I'm wrong here, Danny, but it's hard to get a village together. It's very hard to get a village together. If imagine
100%.
you're trying to get so many people together to be able to make some sort of movement. If you can't get the whole village together, then it's going to be very hard to push that ideal. And imagine getting the entire supporter group, right? All the supporter groups together on the same page, plus all the season ticket members. So
I'm sorry, I saw this comment. It was kind of funny. I'm sorry. People still hating on my Colombianness. All right. Yeah, I agree. Last week I went in and I went into a chat that we have with a few people, and I suggested we maybe put something together. And I found out that maybe the supporters section might be doing something on their own. And I mean, they have the biggest voice. So, I mean, you know, they should be the ones to run with it if they're going to do something.
Yeah.
What's the point of me doing anything? All we have is this podcast. So, I heard that they might be doing something, and I thought it was an awesome idea when I heard what they might be doing,
Phenomenal. Yeah.
and I was excited for it. Now, unfortunately, when you're getting something like this together, it's really hard to keep it on the wraps, and
It
it got
is.
out, and it sucks because once it got out, it got to the front office, and then the front office reached out, and I mean, I guess they arranged something like a meeting with the supporters groups, and they came to terms with they're gonna have a meeting at some point next week. And again, this is all stuff that I've heard. I don't know if this is a fact or
Yeah.
what the meeting is, when the meeting is, if there really is a meeting. I'm just what I've heard, that there will be a meeting at some point, and that because of that, La Familia decided to go into the stadium. My understanding was that they were going to go in without a band,
Yeah.
and without flags and stuff. That's why it was a little more quiet than usual. I think it wasn't 100% right, because I don't think all
It
supporters.
wasn't all of the supporter groups that sort of participated
Yeah,
during the game, and it might have been like different parts of each supporter group. I mean, I don't
yeah.
know, we weren't on that side.
Again, I don't want to say things that aren't factual. So all I know is that I did hear what they were initially going to do, which I thought was really cool. And then I understand that they came to an agreement about having a meeting. What I did want to talk about is about everybody that is kind of shitting on the supporters groups about them
Yeah.
going back on it. Now, a couple things with that. One, they never said that they were going to do this. It's
Yeah.
not a fact that they were going to do it, because all we've heard is somebody reporting it, but everybody's killing them for not going through with something that they never said they were going to do, right? These are all rumors, rumors that I heard also. I don't even know if they were really going to go through with it, or if there was something that was really planned. These are just
Well,
rumors. So I think that it's crap that people are shitting on them. Well, let me finish real quick. That's
yeah,
one.
yeah.
And two, people that are saying, "Oh, but they cave in and they were gonna stay outside, but now they're gonna come inside." The majority of the people talking shit about that came into the stadium. So it's cute that you want them to stay outside for you,
Yeah.
but you were still gonna come watch the game.
Yeah.
Like, you're talking shit from inside the stadium. You're like, "Oh, why are they here? Why are you here?"
Yeah.
Like, maybe you should start boycotting also. You could start tweeting things out. You could start saying, "I'm going to watch the game I'm not going to sell my ticket," right? Because if you sell your ticket, that seat's still going to get full. So the stadium's
Exactly.
still going to look good. Boycott. Go ahead. Like, I understand that the supporter groups have the biggest voice, but like, you could do stuff also. So it's really easy to kill everybody. But I mean, I think it's, if they would have came out and been like, "This is what we're doing," and then gone back on it, okay, I can see why people would say that that's weak. But like, this was just randomly reported as a rumor, and everybody's killing him for it. Like, at no point was it promoted, "Let's do this," and hey, the rest of the stadium should think about doing it also, which I think would have been really cool. But
Well, and I think that's where the hardest thing to come by is just having a mass communication between what the supporter groups are planning and sort of involving like season ticket members and having them sort of follow through with the same plans. Now, I think that there was plans a little more concrete than just like brainstorming, um, and I'll tell you that if those things would have happened, like Danny mentioned, I think it would have been phenomenal. I think it would have been something that would have been extremely noticed on so many different levels. And we're talking about the last Saturday game, fan appreciation night, to be able to follow through with that plan on fan appreciation night, and you're going to have the stands of where your supporters are empty on fan appreciation night. That would catch so much attention.
I'm sorry, real quick. Somebody said that they didn't announce it publicly, but they said it within the group. I mean, Mike, they have to say within the group. Like, they
Yeah,
have
of
to
course. They
communicate
have
what
to
they're doing.
communicate. Yeah.
Like, how are they gonna do? They can't just randomly show up to the game and be like, "Hey guys, I know you guys drove here to see the game, but I got an idea. Like, let's stay out here." Like, no, it has to be well planned. So of course they communicate with them themselves. It just sucks that they have people inside their group or that just decided to let out the info. I think it would have been a great stand. And this isn't new to soccer. Liverpool did it a couple years ago where they walked out in the 77th minute, I want to say, because of raised ticket prices. Borussia Dortmund did it a couple years ago. Like, this isn't new. When front offices do this, supporter groups and people in the stadium in general get together because let me tell you something. I understand that Messi right now is everything in Inter Miami. But football clubs in this soccer culture worldwide, you're really nothing without your fans. I mean, in most sports, but that stadium without fans, it's horrible. You need the fans.
It's a pandemic game.
And I understand that for the next 2 years, they're not going to have a problem filling the stadium. I know it's not a problem, and that's probably why they don't care about it. But after 2 years, after Messi and the Messiahs leave, I still plan on being here. Chris, I'm assuming you and a lot of people will still be here. So the issue is that you're not going to drop these prices back, right? A lot of people are like, oh, but you got to understand, these are Messi prices. All right, but when Messi leaves, what happens? Because these prices aren't going back down.
They're not going back down. No way.
And don't tell me that Messi prices are Neymar prices, because they're not.
Yeah.
I'm not paying that much money to watch Neymar. So
I might.
No. Yeah, I know you love Neymar, but all I'm saying, and again, I don't want to get into this too much. I just think that it's crap, and unfortunately, the only game left to do. You know what's the only thing that frustrates me? If all of this is true about the supporters groups and the front office preparing a meeting, again, I don't know if it's true, but if it is, it frustrates me that supporters groups agreed to this meeting after today's game, because the front office is good now. Well, they don't care if it's an empty stadium for a Wednesday game, right? They'll say like, "Oh, we're out of the playoffs. Messi wasn't playing. We're playing for nothing.
It's a Wednesday
game. It's a Wednesday game. Obviously, the stadium is empty, and then they're gonna sign a couple new names. Everybody gets excited. Everybody shows up that very first game in February or March, right? So they're good now, right? They appeased everybody now. That's it. We're good. But if you would have done it before today, that would have been the time to meet with them. Tell us what you're gonna do, or we're doing this tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right. But that's it. The front office got what they wanted. They're good now. They're golden. They don't care now.
And Mr. Krabs, I want to mention, because you're asking, agreed, what is boycotting going to do? Listen, if a fan base majority boycotts, the organization's going to notice that they're not sitting in those seats, and they're going to notice the importance of these fans.
And you know what, Mr. Krabs, I get what you're saying, because there's a good chance that it does nothing. You're right. It possibly won't. But I promise you, sitting back and just taking it in the ass is going to do less.
Yeah.
You try to fight. You try your best. Look at they're so into PR, right? This is how much they care about how Inter Miami is viewed right now. They don't want this to get picked up by Apple or by ESPN or whatever. They don't want this to be on them. And I'll tell you how bad they are about how good this team they want it to look. You remember back in the beginning of the season where La Familia set off fireworks and it was a scandal? You can't set off fireworks next to an airport. Are you crazy? Are you crazy? We can never do such a thing. Guess what? Messi's here.
Federal crime.
We have fireworks. It's just all the time. Score a goal randomly. Who cares if there's a plane in the air? Shoot the fireworks. Messi's here. Like, they don't care. We got to look good. Everybody in the world is watching us. Make sure we look good. And you know how they don't look good? Having an empty supporter section, having an empty stadium. They don't want to see an empty stadium. That's not a good look for them. So you're right. Maybe it doesn't do anything, but I promise you they're going to try to avoid it. They're going to try to figure out ways to make us happy. Hey, you want to double my prices? Fine, but give me free fucking parking. You have me parking in a fucking mud pit. That's where you have me parking, and you're charging $50 for that mud pit. But you want to double my ticket prices? Give me some free fucking parking at least.
And they give us a plastic card with our name on it.
Thank you.
And a scarf that was made at wish.com. Along with like a piece of paper that's worthless. So yeah, guys, it is what it is. And we definitely need to gather together to be able to make a bigger difference for sure in the next time.
And I think it was Mr. Krabs that said it. I'm with you. You're right. It probably won't do anything. But you know what? I'm okay with trying.
Well, and the one thing that I wanted to mention, and you just reminded me, listen, boycotting is going to show what it's going to look like 2 years from now. Because you'll be able to fill those seats in the next 2 years because of Messi. But then after that, you're gonna have the Messiahs and the supporters for Messi gone. You're gonna have all those media people that are here just for Messi gone. And then we're gonna go back to having Michelle Kaufman, Ian Hast, and Xavier and Franco and all these other people, Alex Windley, the same media people, right? So, but that's the whole point of the protesting, is to show the organization that. Yeah, sorry, Danny, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that the Tank just mentioned that the best part of the season ticket gift
is the boxes. Correct.
And you know what? I'm not gonna lie to you. That is my favorite part of the. I use those boxes. Those are my favorite part. Everything on the inside is whatever, but the actual box, I do agree, it is the best part. Yeah. And I'm sorry, but that parking thing is ridiculous to me. It is. Have you anybody that's parked in the yellow lot? It's terrible. I've never seen so many holes on the ground while you're trying to park there, and those holes become mud pits when you're walking through there after it rains. And we're in South Florida. It rains all the time.
Yeah, it's terrible. You would Hulk smash parking in the yellow lot too. Okay, supercalifragilistic. Trust me.
Oh yeah, and that's right. And they're not giving us the early cup matches for free, so we're paying for less games also.
Yes.
Thank you for that. So whatever. I didn't want to go off too much of an tangent, but
and we're not gonna get a player meet and greet like we did earlier this season. So
no, you're not getting that.
No fucking barbecue like we had. Well, I didn't even go to the fucking barbecue that they had. No pizza party. Like, fuck out of here, man. Now we're just sitting in our soapbox.
Do you think there's any chance that with the price increases they add a roof of some type on the new stadium?
No fucking way.
Yeah, I know.
You're lucky to get a fucking roof so you don't get rained on.
While I'm waiting to get inside,
because they're still gonna block you. They're just gonna be like, you got to stand there because I don't want you to get struck by lightning. Okay, I'll just stand right under this metal roof that's potentially gonna attract lightning. But thanks, buddy. I appreciate your concern. Get me in the fucking stadium.
Well, anything else that you wanted to address? I know we wanted to talk about because that happened like on Tuesday, but we hadn't addressed it yet. So I want to talk about the ticket prices.
Oh, this is another thing. Also, we almost lost the yellow lot. All of a sudden, Messi gets here, and Broward County's like, "Yeah, we don't need a park for the community just yet. It's okay. Our people don't really give a shit about slides and jungle gyms." Fuck out of here.
And and I hate crapping on the team too, but man, they're doing us pretty bad. I mean, it's like we've been loyal for the first 3-4 seasons. I mean, it's your turn.
Yeah, and they're not doing that. So
you don't think that it would have been nice for them to at least like, all right, well, if you were season ticket members the very first season, then maybe you get like a 15%, 20% discount. Like you've been around for like ever. Like you had the cardboards, which I have somewhere. You had the cardboards in the stadium during the pandemic. So, let's grandfather you into like 10% discount. Like people that have been here forever. And if you were here, the second season, okay, you get
15%.
Like something. Yeah. But like no apps given.
Well, and Tank is just mentioning it right here. Balls deep, no lube. I mean, it should have been something like that. Your first year, you get like 15% off. Second year, you get 10% off. Third year, you get 5% off. And then at that point, if you're not one of the 3 last years, then you got to pay standard pricing. I think that's how the pricing should have been. I'm pretty sure we're gonna have more to rant about this.
I'm with you, Leonardo. We've been asking for roofs since last year. We were making sure to say queremos techo last year.
Yeah.
So we've been on this roof thing for a while. What was it? We want queremos techo y queremos abuelitas.
Yeah. Well, we got abuelitas today. I got some really good Cuban coffee out front.
But they weren't abuelitas. They're gonna be future abuelitas. Oh, wait, we're inside or inside.
It was outside. It was outside that I got.
Oh no, inside they had future abuelitas. Oh. But it was good. Today was good.
It's all about the spirit, baby. The abuelita spirit. But yeah, man, that's all that we got on our mind, especially at this time of the night. Yeah. What about you, Danny? Any final words?
I can't think of anything. If anybody wants to throw out any questions real quick, I guess we could address anything that you guys want. But
eso sí es verdad. Queremos goles.
Queremos goles. Yeah, that's a good one for sure. And real quick, factual food, just real quick. They're gonna start making us put those in our taxes when you actually resell tickets. You're actually gonna start getting taxed for that now, so that should be interesting.
Rain,
All right.
Rain is not holy water. It's I'm not even gonna make my joke. Forget it. Never mind. I bailed.
All right. So, if you are listening on audio, thank you for listening all the way to the end. Please leave us 5 stars, review, comment, all that other good stuff. And if you are watching on YouTube, thank you for watching all the way to the end. We appreciate you taking the time to join us. And if you were part of this chat on a late Saturday night, we appreciate you taking the time to join us. And also for going ahead and participating in the chat. As always, you guys are the best part of the show. I am sorry if I sounded angry today. I don't mean to. But apparently that's the reputation I'm building. I'll try to do better next time. And also, if you want some Inter Miami merch, whether it be the first trophy, Chris is holding up the no winners, no losers, kissing sisters. If you've been with us for a while, you know what that's about. And just messy merch and all that other good stuff, go ahead and visit us on batterfans.com. And until the next one, have a good one.